With 2021 now over, I wanted to go back and look at all the games that came out this year and maybe call out some of the games that you may have missed throughout this year. I know I definitely missed a lot of games through 2021, so going through this was actually kind of interesting for me as well. So we're going to be exploring 15 games that you may have missed or didn't pick up in 2021. I'd love to have everyone's commentary on this as well. Let me know in the comment section down below which games you think were really worth checking out and worth playing and which ones you think weren't. That will help the rest of the community out as well. If you're enjoying my videos so far, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate that, and it's completely free to do it. Okay, let's look at the first one. Life is Strange True Colors. This is the latest iteration of the Life is Strange franchise, which was kind of like a storytelling or episodic storytelling action-adventure game, or adventure game is probably a better way to describe it. These games have been around for a couple of years now. They play very similar to Telltale games or games like Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, things like that. They focus heavily on storytelling, and then they have some adventure puzzle-solving mechanics in there as well. This is the latest iteration of the franchise that came out this year, and honestly didn't hear too much buzz about it. Sadly, normally these games come out in episodes, so as they come out and they release, you hear more information about them. This one here, they just dumped all the episodes out at once. And I guess that works really well for existing fans of that franchise because they can play the entire thing right then and there, which I personally would prefer. But it doesn't have that continual buzz and excitement that you would if you were releasing them every couple of months. One that I know PS5 owners have probably already checked out is Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart. This is a great game, and a game that I can't recommend enough. I think it is a really superb game. It does showcase a lot of what the PS5 has to offer, and it gets me really excited for Sony's other AAA games when they release a game like Spider-Man, the God of War, another Ghost of Tsushima style game, Horizon Zero Dawn. I think this game here really showcases the beginnings of what the PS5 can do. It's a great game, a really fun mascot platformer if you're into that. Price point is just a little bit teensy, a little bit high on this one to fully recommend it. But if you're a Ratchet fan, you're a mascot platformer fan, and you're looking for something that you're dying to play on the PS5, there's a really good choice to pick up. Although I know a lot of PS5 owners probably were in that exact same boat and they did pick it up. One that I haven't gotten around to yet is Outriders. This is a game that came out at the start of 2021, so a lot of you have probably forgotten about it as well. This was the Square Enix published game that had to deal with Microsoft Game Pass to release day and date there. Squad-based, third-person shooter style game, very similar to the likes of Destiny and The Division 2, games like that. The game actually looked really good. It played very well as well, apparently. I haven't checked it out myself yet. I'm definitely keen to go back and play this one at some point because I do own it. I just haven't had a chance to go through and play it yet. I do need a squad to do that with, but yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be in the same boat as me with Outriders. Resident Evil 8 is actually a guilty pleasure of mine. It's one that I haven't played from 2021 either. It's probably not one that you've forgotten about because it did get a lot of buzz in 2021, but it did come out last year. Classic first-person Resident Evil horror, which I never thought was something I would say, but it's now a thing in the Resident Evil universe. This one here continues the story of Resident Evil 7 and played the first little bit of it. I didn't hate it. I liked it a lot. I just didn't have enough time to commit to it, so definitely coming back to this one at some point. Hopefully this year I'll come back to this one. RETURNal, it's another PS5 exclusive game that I missed. Like one of 3 PS5 exclusive games that actually came out last year. Fully exclusive, I mean. RETURNal is a roguelike game where you continue to play the same section of game over and over again to get better gear and equipment and things like that. You die, you get reset, etc, etc. It's a Sony published game, but developed on more of a AA budget than a AAA budget, which is why price point of this game was always a little bit weird to me. I'm waiting for it to get discounted a little bit more before I pick it up, but it got amazing reviews when it came out. The gameplay looks great as well. It looks like it's incredibly fun, and everyone who I've spoken to who has played it recommends the game. It's apparently a really good one, but it came out at the very beginning of 2021. Basically the first PlayStation 5 exclusive game to come out post-launch, and the first Sony published game post-PS5 launch to come out. So definitely keen to check this one out, hopefully when it gets a bit cheaper in 2021 as well. Game of the Year 2021 was It Takes Two. And I mean, you probably haven't forgotten It Takes Two because it's been promoted in sales, and it was Game of the Year. But it was weirdly Game of the Year. It was, I don't know if that's telling about the year we've just had, but some of the games on this list are pretty awesome games. So honestly, I don't know. It Takes Two is a co-op game. It can be played split screen or it can be played online with a friend. It's required to be played co-op. So you only have to own one copy of the game. The second person can get a free copy of the game. It's a platformer though at heart, but it does have a really cool and quirky story to it as well. So yeah, I don't know, if you're looking for a game to play with a friend, this is probably the best one on this list to do that with. So yeah. Kena Bridge of Spirits was a really refreshing game that came out this year too. It's a classic PS2 mascot platformer. Warts and all, if that makes sense. It's got all the good of what a PS2 era game should be and the bad alongside that as well. Basically being a platformer collectathon style game with hack and slash elements, similar to Ratchet, similar to Jack. Probably not quite as polished as those games, but the game did look absolutely phenomenal, and it has been discounted so many times since then too. Kena was like one of those really highly anticipated games that came out, and being an indie game and an indie published game, when it finally did launch, it got no attention and no buzz because there was no money to put behind promoting a game like this, unfortunately. Without the backing of a Sony or someone else, it just fizzled out, unfortunately. And I think the game is great. It looks amazing. amazing, and I'm definitely keen to revisit it in 2022. Deathloop. This is an interesting one because Deathloop is a game that was overhyped so much. It was getting 10 out of 10 reviews and things like that, and now the game is half price on all of the PlayStation Store sales. So I don't know what's up with Deathloop. A lot of people who I've spoken to have played this game. I haven't personally played it. I've said that it's actually pretty average in terms of content and quality, but I'd be curious to get everyone's thoughts in the comments down below on if they've played Deathloop and checked it out and if they enjoyed it. Story trailers and the promotion for this game were incredible. I think it looked amazing with these James Bond-esque promotional trailers and things. The game looked great. I just didn't get a chance to pick it up because I didn't want to pay that high price point at launch. It's the right price point now to play, being about 50% off, but it's unusual that a game gets put 50% off like 2 months after launch as well. Hades, it was Game of the Year 2020. Not much more to say about Hades. I think it's good, and I think the quality of the game is really good. I think most people will enjoy it, but you just got to be in the right mindset for a game like that. If you don't like roguelike games, I don't think that suddenly you're going to love roguelike games from playing Hades. I think if you enjoy that genre already, then I think you're going to have a good time with it. But just because it was Game of the Year doesn't mean suddenly you're going to fall in love with it, because I don't think that is the reality. I think it's Game of the Year for the majority, not for everybody. Not knocking Hades in any way, shape, or form. I think it is a really good game, but it's worth managing expectations. 12 Minutes was something that came out of nowhere that was really refreshing as well. It was originally shown during Microsoft's conference, so a lot of people may have missed it, myself included. When it launched, I didn't know it had launched, and then I was scrolling through the PlayStation Store and I found it. This one here, you play through the same loop of content over and over again, and you make different decisions. It's kind of like Deathloop or a Groundhog Day situation, but it's a very short loop of content that you have to play through and solve the puzzles in the correct sequence in order to find out different things and do different things. It's a really cool concept for a game like this. The art style for it is very unique as well. The storytelling in it is very unique. 12 Minutes, I would suggest checking this one out. I think it's one that definitely a lot of people would have missed. It's one that I do recommend. I think this game is very, very good, and I know a lot of people would have slept on it. Knockout City is another weird one that came out this year that a lot of people played, but also not a lot of people played, given it was an EA game. The art style was Fortnite, which a lot of people just glaze over when they see that art style these days. There is another game shown at the Game Awards, but had exactly the same content art style as well, and I don't know. Knockout City's a dodgeball game though, basically. It's a 3v3 dodgeball style game. You hit the balls at people, you dodge, you dip, duck, dive, and dodge. Throw the art style aside, it's actually a really fun game to play. It was free on PlayStation Plus, and it also had a free trial when it first came out at launch, so some of you guys have probably already checked it out. You may not have actually played it, even if you downloaded it with PlayStation Plus though, so I'd suggest checking it out. I think it's actually worth your time. It was fun when I played it, and I know friends of mine played it a ton when the game came out initially to get the Platinum Trophy, so that's testament to how it's not that bad, but I had a really good time with it as well. I'm planning on going back and platinuming this game in 2022 myself. Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of the most meh game, I would say, on this list. I didn't really enjoy it myself. I think it was fine. It was just fine, but it wasn't. It's one of those ones that I don't recommend going and grabbing because I don't think it's like amazing. I don't think it's a must-play game, but it's fine. It's just a very good, competent action-adventure game. Hence why I say the most meh game of this entire list. I think it does action platforming and action-adventure stuff just well. I think Square Enix redeemed themselves with this one because it's a lot better than Avengers, and I think it's probably what Avengers should have actually been. Less ambitious, more focused on single-player content rather than live service elements and things like that, which I think they kind of just got away with them a little bit. I think the game's good. It's just, I don't know, pick it up on sale. That's probably my only opinion on that one. Far Cry 6, you know it's your MPA with Far Cry, classic, first-person, open world. The game had been delayed a number of times. It finally came out. I think it worked perfectly well when it came out. It's a massive collect-a-thon, shoot-a-thon, do everything-a-thon Ubisoft game. You know what you're getting in for here with decent quality. It is getting discounted pretty heavily in part of the sales as well, so if you wait a little bit longer, maybe into Easter, you'll be able to pick this one up cheaper. Back 4 Blood was probably my personal biggest disappointment of 2021, well, apart from all the Call of Duty I played. But it's a game that promised so much because Left 4 Dead was such a great franchise and something I held really near and dear, and Back 4 Blood kind of didn't deliver on all of that. It delivered on being Left 4 Dead, but didn't really deliver on evolving that formula very much, and I felt like it was very much just Left 4 Dead, but 15 years later, and not really improved upon a huge amount. Now, I know, technically speaking, it looks better, it plays better, it runs better, so I'm not a fool, I understand that. I just don't think the game really took any leaps and bounds. I don't personally recommend this one and enjoy this one, but I know people who have played it and enjoyed it as well, and if you're looking for a game to play with buddies, I think it's a good one to play with friends. It is just not probably as good as I was hoping it would have been, so probably my biggest disappointment. And a game that was the opposite of that came out of nowhere was Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels Unleashed was probably my biggest surprise, I think, because the game was so good, apart from the Platinum Trophy, which is terrible, but put that aside. The game itself, the gameplay was really, really fun. Taking a lot of inspiration from kart racing games and arcade racing games and kind of doing something in between both of those, I think they did a great job. And you're playing as Hot Wheels in a bedroom, and everything is to scale. It's a very, very cool concept for a game. I really enjoyed this one. I just think they did a bad job with the DLC and a bad job with the trophies. I think apart from those two things, the game was very, very good. But there you go. So, a bunch of games that you've probably missed, or maybe something you haven't missed in 2021. Be curious to get your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. If there's any games that I missed off this list that I think should have been on here in terms of games that are worth checking out from last year, let us know in the comment section down below, because the rest of the community would really appreciate that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I would really appreciate that as well. Happy New Year, everybody, especially to my Patreons and channel members. Thank you to each and every one of you fine folks for helping to keep this channel's lights running. 2022 is going to be an exciting year. I cannot wait to show you what we have in store for this channel. Thank you to everyone over here on the side of me to helping to support the channel and to keep the channel going. If you too want to help support the channel like these fine folks over here, you can do so by hitting the Patreon link in the description down below, and as little as $1 per month can help this channel out enormously. Alternatively, if you want to become a channel member, you can do the membership button that's just below this video. You get cool things next to your name, you get to use different emotes in chat, it's a whole thing. Either way, I really appreciate you. Thank you all so much, and trust me, 2022 is gonna be a good one. All right.